Thanks for checking out this review of complex numbers. We're going to take a look at common mistakes with finding the distances and midpoints, something that you'll be expected to do on the test, and that was covered back on quiz 1. The distance is simply distance formula. So we have Z3 at 6 plus 2i. If you'll recall, the real numbers are on the x scale, the imaginary numbers are on the y scale. So that's our point at 6 plus 2i, and then we have another complex number at 6 plus 10i. Really, if you take a quick look at the graph, that's just 8 units, and the work to get there of 6 minus 6 is altogether 0. 10 minus 2 is 8, so I got 0 squared plus 8 squared ends up becoming 64. 8 times 8 is 64 plus 0, and square root of 64 is 8. Answering your problems with the exact values, 8 is an exact value. Okay, it's a nice square root of 64 is a nice square root. It's a perfect square. It comes out to 8. The midpoint is, all right, what's the difference between the real part? Well, what is the middle of 6 and 6? And it's going to be 6. Okay, ultimately the real number, we're not moving left or right, so we don't have to go anywhere. Midpoint formulas, take those 6's and add them, take the imaginary part, add them, divide both parts by 2, you get 6, 6, or if we're plotting it on the imaginary scale, 6 plus 6i for number 1. Going on to number 2, a little bit more work because we're finding the midpoint right there between Z1 and Z2. So we are doing, here is the first real part, and here is the other real part, so we need to subtract those. Ultimately, that comes out to 12 squared, and then we need to subtract the imaginary parts, the I parts. That's happening right there. Negative 3 minus negative 7 is ultimately negative 3. Plus 7, which is 4, so we got 12 squared, 4 squared. We grab our calculators or do mental math, we get square root of 160. Problem, square root of 160, you type that on a calculator, it is a disgusting decimal. If you type that into Khan Academy, you're wrong. On test day, this will ultimately be a multiple choice thing. The textbook way of doing it, if you recall factoring 160, 160 divided by 2, it's the same as 80 times 2. 80 divided by 2, it's the same as 40 times 2. 40 divides by 2, it's the same as 20 times 2. 20 divides by 2, it's the same as 10 times 2. And then I've run out of markers here, but 10 divides by 2, it's the same as 5 times 2. So in the end, 5 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, that will also be 160. We have pairs of 2's that we can factor out, because the square root of 2 times 2 would be 2. The square root of 2 times 2 would be 2. What's left over inside? A 5 and a 2. And that's why 5 times 2 is left inside. Our final answer for the distance would be 2 times 2 is 4. 5 times 2 is 10 for root 10. Finding our midpoint, again, add the real parts, negative 8 and 4, divide by 2. Add the imaginary parts, negative 7 and negative 3, divide by 2, and we get negative 2, negative 5. Ultimately, that would be negative 2 on the real scale and negative 5 on the imaginary scale. As you can see, that point is in the middle. So again, distance, use distance formula, subtract the real parts and the imaginary parts, square root, simplify correctly, and then the midpoint formula, add the real parts, divide by 2, or add the imaginary parts and divide by 2.